You know, the AI industry is facing a massive billion-dollar crisis, and it all comes down to its insatiable hunger for data. Today, we're going to dig into how this data free-for-all ignited a legal firestorm, and then we'll uncover a new, patented technology that might just be the solution everyone's been looking for.
Let's just start with a number, $1.5 billion. Now, that is not a company valuation. It's not a new funding round. That's the price tag of the single largest copyright settlement in history, and it sits right at the heart of AI's existential crisis.
So that really brings us to the big question for today, right? How in the world did we get here? How did this race to build the most powerful AI imaginable lead to this kind of billion-dollar legal reckoning? We're going to connect all the dots for you.
Okay, let's start with what we're calling AI's data crisis. Because look, to really get the legal and financial chaos that's unfolding, you first have to understand let's say, the original sin of the entire generative AI boom.
And here it is. For years, AI companies built their models by just systematically scraping the entire public internet. Every article, every book, every piece of art, it was all just hoovered up to make their models smarter. And the key thing here, it was all done without asking permission, without giving any credit, and certainly without offering any compensation. And that practice has now created a massive, massive legal and financial liability.
Well, that liability didn't just stay on paper for very long. It absolutely erupted into a full-blown legal firestorm. Creators and publishers, seeing their life's work being used to power these billion-dollar models, well, they decided it was finally time to fight back.
And the sheer scale of this fight is just staggering. By early 2026, we saw more than 80 separate lawsuits filed against the biggest names in AI. So this wasn't just, one or two angry authors. This was a full-on, industry-wide revolt.
And just look at who's suing. We are talking authors, major news organizations like the New York Times, musicians, even YouTubers and podcasters. They're going after pretty much everyone. OpenAI, Meta, NVIDIA, Runway AI, for scraping everything from pirated book websites to YouTube videos. It's clear that no creative industry has been left untouched by this.
So this legal firestorm isn't just some abstract threat. It has led to a very real, very tangible, and very expensive billion-dollar reckoning for the entire AI industry.
The absolute epicenter of that reckoning was the Bartz vs. Anthropic case back in 2025. Anthropic, a huge AI developer, had to pay a minimum of $1.5 billion because it trained its AI, Claude, on almost 500,000 copyrighted books that it got from pirate websites. I mean, this settlement just sent a shockwave through the entire industry. It set a huge precedent. Using pirated data comes with a very, very high price tag. But the damage isn't just measured in dollars. The legal process itself, what they call discovery, is forcing these AI companies to finally open up their black boxes. And it's raising some major questions about privacy and transparency for all of us. Just take the huge case between the New York Times and OpenAI. As part of that lawsuit, a federal judge actually ordered OpenAI to turn over a sample of 20 million private ChatGPT user logs to be used as evidence.
Now, OpenAI fought this tooth and nail. They argued it would totally invade user privacy, but the court disagreed. The judge basically said, look, he acknowledged that users have sincere privacy interests, but, and this is a huge but, he found those interests were already adequately protected. And the key reason? Users voluntarily submitted their chats to OpenAI. This ruling essentially set a new standard. Your private chats with an AI? Yeah, they are now discoverable evidence in a lawsuit.
So, with billions of dollars on the line in settlements and private data being exposed in court, the industry is, let's just say, desperate for a new way forward. And all this chaos has led to the development of what some people are calling the fast lane solution.
And this slide really just nails the difference. It's the old way versus the new way. On the left, you've got web scraping. It's slow, it's a legal minefield, and the data you get is just a mess. But on the right, you have this new model. We're talking access in milliseconds, zero legal risk because it's all based on a contract, and the data is perfectly clean.
So what is this new model? Well, it's built on a technology called Pockets, which was developed by a company named Meta-Staamp, and it's designed to be a whole new kind of infrastructure that sits right between the AI models and the content creators.
And how it works is actually beautifully simple. First, an AI agent requests access to a creator's stuff. Second, just by connecting, it automatically, programmatically signs a user agreement. Third, the agent gets instant access to all of the creator's clean, pre-indexed content. And finally, the creator is automatically paid a small royalty. That's it.
request, contract, access, payment, all in one seamless, lightning-fast transaction.
The real magic here is what they call the connection equals contract model. The legal agreement isn't some separate document you have to sign. It is literally baked into the communication protocol itself. So when an AI agent connects, it is legally accepting the terms. No lawyers, no paperwork, no invoices. The protocol is the contract.
And the efficiency here is, well, it's just incredible. That entire transaction we just talked about, request, contract, access, and logging the payment, it all happens in about 0.3 milliseconds. For AI companies who measure every single penny in compute cycles, this kind of speed is an absolute game changer. It takes them from a slow, incredibly risky process to one that's instantaneous and legally airtight.
So what we're really looking at here isn't just a technical fix for a data problem, it's actually the blueprint for an entirely new economy, one where creators are finally compensated for the immense value they provide to the AI ecosystem.
And this is probably the best analogy you'll hear. Think about it. Just like ASCAP created a system way back when for radio stations to legally play music and make sure musicians got their royalties, Pockets is doing the exact same thing for the 21st century. It's creating that essential licensing and payment infrastructure between AI agents and content creators.
The whole model is built on what are called micro-royalties. Every single time an AI pulls from a creator's pocket, that creator gets paid. The base rate might be just a fraction of a cent, which sounds tiny, right? But when you think about AI models accessing data billions and billions of times a day, those fractions of a penny suddenly scale up into a massive new revenue stream for creators everywhere.
And I want to be clear, this isn't just some idea on a napkin. The Meta-Staamp platform is fully built out. We're talking over 95,000 lines of working code. It's built on a protocol that major AI labs have already adopted, and the core tech is protected by 6 provisional patents. Plus, by bringing thousands of creators together on one platform, it creates this powerful union effect, giving them the collective bargaining power to actually set the terms for how AI gets to access their work.
So, after all the billion-dollar settlements and the messy courtroom battles, one thing has become crystal clear. AI companies are going to have to pay for the data that powers them. The old way is over. And that leaves us with a final, and I think crucial question. It's no longer about if creators will get paid. The real question is who builds the toll road.